16-4, circumference. Your essential question is, how are the circumference and diameter of a circle related? So we're going to be understanding some formulas, some more formulas, so get ready to do some math note-taking. We're going to use pi, and we're going to be able to find the circumference of a circle. And this lesson is given by your lovely teacher, Miss Villaseñor. There I am. Let's do some learning here. Circumference. The definition is the distance around a circle. Similar to a perimeter when we're trying to find the distance around a polygon. But for a circle, the distance around, that is what we call the circumference. So you can, in your notes, write your definition here with the example. Now, in the example here, they're going to ask us to find the circumference if we know the measurement of the diameter. And remember, the diameter goes across the circle. That is what we call the diameter. Now, in the example, if they want us to find the circumference for this, and we know that the diameter is 5 inches, how do we find the circumference? We're going to use a formula. We're going to use one of these formulas depending on the information they're giving us, okay? So one of the formulas is circumference, which stands for C, equals pi times diameter. Okay, so if they're giving us a diameter, then we just multiply that by pi, then we get the circumference. Now, another formula that you can use would be if we don't know the diameter, but they're giving us the radius. And remember, the radius is half of a diameter. So if they're giving us the radius, then it would be 2 times the pi times the radius. Okay, so I'm going to tell you what pi stands for. And in your notes, you want to say pi equals 3.14, about 3.14. Okay, so in your definitions, I would write D stands for diameter. And the R here stands for radius. So it depends on the information that your problem gives you. So the one about the going back to the circle with a diameter of 5, then we would use this formula here. Okay, we would use this one here. Okay, so we're going to solve for that right now. So going back to, if I have a circle and I have the diameter, I know the diameter equals 5 inches, I can solve for circumference because I would just replace D with 5. And the way we do this, I'm going to use the formula circumference equals pi times diameter. In other words, pi equals 3.14 times the diameter, and the diameter in this case is the measurement of 5 here, so we say times the 5, and then that would give us the measurement of the circumference. So when we do 3.14 times 5, it's going to give us a measurement of the circumference about 15.70. Okay, so it's just plugging in numbers and really knowing what information is already given to you. And then we'll do another example here. Okay, another example here. I'm drawing a circle here, and I'm going to use red to represent diameter. Okay, remember, if the line goes all the way across the circle, that's your diameter. Radius, I'll put it in green. Remember, that is half a diameter, so it would be, I'll put that in the R there. Okay, So another example that they can give you is they will give you the circumference measurement, but you have to figure out the diameter. How do we do that? So let's say the example here is the circumference is 14 inches. That means circumference, remember, means the measurement around the circle. So if we already know that, that means that we know this equals 14. But they want us to find the diameter. And so what we do here, we're going to use the formula again, which is C equals pi times D, and we just plug in the numbers. Okay, so in this case, we know what C stands for, but we don't know what D stands for, so we're going to have to solve for D. Okay, so in this case, C equals 14 because we already know the circumference measurement. And remember, pi is about 3.14 times D. We don't know what D means, so how do we solve for D? We're going to, since that means multiplication, we're going to do the inverse operation. That means we're going to divide by 3.14 to both sides. Okay, cross this out, and then when we divide 14 divided by 3.14, it's going to give us the measurement of about 4.46. And remember, I say about because pi is about 3.14. So you're going to see a little squiggly equal line. Okay, so again, it's just plugging in the numbers you know, but using the knowing which formula to use. Okay, there's gonna be another example here. The other example is if they want us to find the circumference and they're giving us the radius. I know this is a radius because it goes a half. It's half. It goes halfway through the circle. Okay, so we're going to use the formula that has the r, the radius, which is C equals 2 times pi times r, which is the radius. Okay, so we plug in the numbers. That means that I'm solving for C. I don't know what C stands for, but I know that pi stands for 3.14. And then radius, that means times the 7 because the radius is 7 here. Okay, so once we do that, we multiply 2 times 3.14, which is 6.28. Now we multiply that by 7. Okay, so then 6.28 times 7, it's going to give us 43.96. Okay, so then our answer is circumference is about 43.96. Again, I was just plugging in the numbers that I have, that I know. I knew I had to use this formula here because I was dealing with the radius. Now, since I used radius here and my answer was 43.96, in the book they might have you round to the nearest whole number and then your answer would be 44. I also want to give you a tip that in the book you will find that they will also use pi. Okay, we said pi equals about 3.14. You will also see that pi can equal 22 over 7. Okay, you can use pi, you can use this or this. Now you want to use this, the fraction piece, if your radius or diameter is being given to you as a fraction. It might make it easier. Okay, so that's how to find circumference in a circle.